You have found the Jordy Culotta Show right here on YouTube. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. on the campus of Click Here Digital in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we serve up premium LSU content. Hard-hitting guests, opinions that you can find Monday through Friday. If you want that, subscribe right here on the link that you see below. Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you.
Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Thank you for the time.
I think you saw some of the young guys play, and that's what people wanted. Shelton Sampson has two tough drops. Nussmeier was 4 for 6. He would have been 6 for 6. Or I guess 5 for 5 with a tutty.
Oh, God. They would have called for the Nuss bus.
No, they were last night. It was unbelievable.
Man,
we are where we are.
Man threw 6 passes.
Well, then you had people saying that it was on purpose.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Jordy is he's got 1 foot on the Nuss bus.
It's not unbelievable. But it's
what did you see yesterday? Like, what did you see Saturday that would make you change your,
I told you what I saw last night. I mean, I told you last night.
But that's what you've always been seeing.
Right, and I'm saying that for this particular team, if the strength is still going to be in the wide receiver core, it's not in the offensive line like I thought it to be, at least through 2 games. I'm not ready to bail. And if you're going to make a change like putting Lance Hurd on the starting 5, which feels like is going to happen, then I want time to evaluate that. Again, I'm not pulling the plug on Jaden Daniels. I am saying when you put Nussmeier out there, there is a feeling that the offense is totally different in the way that it operates and the way that you call plays. And I'm just saying, I might like to see it a little more. That's it. I mean, I'm saying that if the numbers are going to change for the wide receivers, which they ultimately do when he's in the game, right? Like their numbers go up, the targets go up,
turnovers go up,
the big play capabilities go up. Okay, the risk reward goes up in the offense. I've seen the data through 15 games with Jaden Daniels. My criticism of Daniels would be, I want more risk reward. I want big plays. I want the wide receivers to have stat lines where a couple of them have 2-3 touchdowns a night, a lot like they did against Grambling. Those stat lines looked fantastic against a FCS team. But can you carry that over in the big games? And I don't even know if Nussmeier can. So again, I'm not trying to create a quarterback controversy, and I'm not saying pull the plug on Jaden Daniels. I'm just saying that the offense it's got to be difficult to practice with these two guys. Because while you do see similar play calling when they're in the game, they really are polarizingly different prospects. So the play calling has to really be different. Think about the RPO that you see with Daniels compared to Nussmeier. Through 2 games, Daniels has 20 rushes. A lot of those off of RPO. They don't feel like they're called runs. Feels like it's just what Daniels sees, feels comfortable doing. They call the same plays for Nussmeier.
Nussmeier's is the slant.
He just comes off that RPO and he just whips it.
Yeah, Nussmeier's is the slant. Jaden Daniels is the
keep.
The keep and the the flat.
And
Pretty simple to catch on to as a defense, though.
for both, and I think that's part of the bigger issue, right? Is the reason that I'm okay with Jaden Daniels continuing to be the starters because of what you said, the way he protects the football. But we talked about this last night a little bit. If the defense is going to give up 40 a game, that's when you have to start. It's who gives you the best chance to score.
And that would be what my discussion is.
Because then you don't care if you turn it over.
You're in-house as LSU. Is that you look at both of these guys and Clint Phillips, Marcus Stewart. Jordy doesn't like winning, apparently. Dude threw 5 touchdowns and still not satisfied. No, Marcus, that's not true. What I am saying is that the strength of this team, of LSU's team, is again built on the outside, the playmakers. I believe the strength of LSU's offense to be Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton, Kyron Lacey, Aaron Anderson, Logan Diggs, Mason Taylor. These guys that when you put the ball in their hand, they are playmakers. They change the scoreboard. I envision that it would have been the offensive line going into this season. Through the first 2 games, I'm wrong. That's not right. Maybe with Zalance Hurd being inserted to the lineup, and I expect him to be a part of the starting 5 moving forward, that it changes the way that you identify yourself. Maybe you become that physical run grading or a run solidifying, establishing team that you can build up and maybe make the big plays off of that. Through the first 2 games, that has not been evident. So if the strength of the offense is on the outside and the best chance for LSU to win is getting the ball in the hands of Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, and others, is to start taking a little bit and few more shots down the field. The risk and reward needs to increase, especially when you look at the other side and you don't have the defense that you had last season. Can we all agree? We're all not going to agree on whether you could go with Nussmeier or Daniels, right? There's a camp that believes Daniels is the guy. There's a camp that believes Nussmeier should get a shot. That's just kind of the way of the world. We all agree that LSU defensively is poor through 2 games, correct? Like they got to vastly improve before they get to conference play, to the teeth of the schedule, for them to have a real big chance to being successful. But if they don't fix it, which is at this point probable, like I would say, like the capability of fixing it is a long shot, because I don't know what you're going to do at your linebacker personnel. I don't, unless you start counting on true freshmen, or you start moving some guys around, or you maybe put some guys in different positions. I don't know, because there's not a middle of the season fix for when you thought you had a good, solid player at the spot and it just doesn't work out and there's no depth. When that's the case, you're kind of SOL, really, right? And I say the same thing about the defensive backfield, where, yes, after last night, after Saturday night, I believe Denver Harris is the best DB on this team. But why? Because I just saw him compete. I just saw him, be able to give up a play, flush it, move on to that. Did he play a great game? Hell no. It was also his first game in 10 months. And if that's what you get out of the first game in 10 months, then he's got to play every game. I would also say the same thing about LaTerrence Welsh. I've seen him go down on kickoff team now in 2 straight weeks, specifically on Saturday night, going down looking to headhunt. And Welsh came flying down on the kickoff team on Saturday and fought through a block, threw the guy on the ground, found the ball, and put the ball on the ground. Like, that guy needs a shot, right? I mean, just put him out there. He might be in the mix. I want to see guys compete. I want to see the personnel. I want to see people talk a little trash. I want to see people challenged. I want to see people give up a catch, come back on the next one and compete. For the first time, I saw that out of the spot. So there's a little sign of hope, but you don't have a lot of those guys. And I don't know how you fix that. So if you look up in game 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're giving up an average of 28, 35, 38 points a game. Well, offensively, you can't sit there and dunk underneath, throw behind the chains on 3rd and 7, throw a route that goes 4 yards. You're just not going to be able to do it. If you want to keep the ball away from them and kill the clock and play with the lead, then maybe that's a good formula. But you got to have a good defense who can stop them on the other side. And right now, up until this point, LSU ain't got that. And it doesn't look like they have a sign of fixing that to make it real competitive on that side of the ball where you can win games over there. And that's my point in saying, I love Jaden Daniels. You can win with Jaden Daniels. It's been proven you can win with Jaden Daniels. Hell, you can win the division of the league with Jaden Daniels. You have to have some things around Daniels that make a lot of sense. For the style that he plays, you got to have a really good defense, a defense that doesn't give up a lot of points a game, a defense that's going to be swarming attacks and can get after the pass rusher, create some turnovers. Through 2 games, LSU's got 1 sack and 2 turnovers. Oof. That's the numbers. Yeah, Jaden Daniels went for 5 touchdowns against Grambling. And look, some things are not his drops. But when Garrett Nussmeier is in the game, there is a feeling that LSU is more of a threat to make big plays. And at this point, I don't know if that's not the best formula for LSU to win. That they may have to get into a track meet every week, and they may have to start averaging 35 a game. Just because they have to. Finals might be 35-33, 35-31, 38-36. I mean, like they're going to be in some high scoring games. And do I believe that Daniels? Yeah, I mean, I don't. If Daniels was the only option for LSU, I would feel like, yeah, man, he can do it. But if you've got an option that proves that, hey, he's going to get back there and he's going to take some shots, and he's going to give Brian Thomas a chance to maybe go for $150 and 3 scores one night. Or maybe you see Aaron Anderson's numbers start to inflate with him in the game. If not, I'm wrong. But it feels like that. It feels like that's the case when he's in there. And I don't know if that's not the best formula for LSU to win.
Did you say Jaden Daniels is the top 5 LSU quarterback of all time?
No. Would you? I would say he's the best running quarterback of all time.
I'm just saying statistically so far.
Yeah, I mean.
Offensive output. From what he's done to this point, you would put obviously Burrow, Russell.
Hodson.
Rowe.
I mean, I think
Rowe. But I'm saying if you're going all the way back to Tommy.
I'm even looking at a guy like Herb Tyler.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
But that's what I'm saying. Look how far you have to go back to see somebody where, and that's what's funny about this whole thing is that you have somebody, obviously that is the second string of Garrett Nussmeier, but you have a quarterback in front of you that's playing as well as anybody has ever played the position aside from Burrow. At the school that he's at.
Wait, repeat that?
I said he's playing the position as well as anybody has ever played it at LSU aside from Joe Burrow. He's like, if you just look at, surely just looking at the numbers. The way that I think
not accustomed.
Stylistically, I don't think people like what they're looking at.
He is not. He's not blessed with what other LSU quarterbacks have been lucky enough to have around them. When you're usually looking at quarterbacks at LSU, they are usually stationed. They are usually backed by a top 10 defensive unit. Mm-hmm. And whether it's not a top 10 unit, there's some type of playmaker over there that can change the game. Right? In this particular season, Jaden Daniels does not have that luxury. Last season, he played with that luxury of a defense that you could count on, that you could game plan, that they could win for you. They could win some games. There are games that LSU's defense pulled out and won. I could even argue that the Alabama game, with the way that they defended Alabama and the way that they really kind of stifled that. I mean, that early turnover, that Bernard Converse pick
in the end zone.
I mean, that was huge.
Yeah, and I would say just scoreboard-wise, Arkansas and Auburn are the 2 games that I look at. You get the Harold Perkins interception, but that's what he's lacking is there's no turnovers.
Through 2 games.
And no pressure on the quarterback at all.
They may change that. There may be some things that you can tinker and move around that you can start to get that type of production. through 2 games, the evaluation in my part is that you don't have that. You just there's not a way for you to really look at LSU's defense the way that you did last season and say, hey, look, pressure's on. You got to get it. You're the ones that have to dictate the tempo and pace of this game tonight, whether it's through takeaway or whether it's through pressure or whether it's through whatever it is. They don't have that. And so if you've got to get into track meets and you got to outscore people, well, do I believe Daniels can do that? I do. I think if you asked him to do that, he could play that style. He would be uncomfortable because he put such a premium on protecting the ball, which is a very high mark of a quarterback. Right? Like when he goes to his NFL evaluation and they look at the numbers and look at the way that his touchdown to interception ratio has kind of played alongside of each other, that's a real positive mark for him. But with the style that LSU has to play in 2023, it may not give them the best chance to win. Just think about it. I mean, you put 13 back there, and it feels like the whole field's in play. It feels like all the options are in play. It feels like big plays are more prominent. Thanks for tuning in to our premium LSU content right here on YouTube. If you want more of it, subscribe below.